This is Andrew with AndroidCentral.com, and today we're taking a look at the new Nexus 7. So obviously this is the device that we've all been waiting for several months now. This is the follow-up to the original Nexus 7 and still manufactured by Asus or Asus, however you like to pronounce it. The new Nexus 7, as they're calling it, or the Nexus 7 2013 in parentheses, is a worthy follow-up to the original, and you can see that just as you walk around the hardware. It is drastically thinner and narrower on the sides, but let's start around the edges and the back. Just as before, the entire left edge is good and clean with nothing going on, and down at the bottom we have your regular micro USB port along with speakers at the bottom. That's just considered one speaker, but it's just drilled out on either side there. Up on the other side we have a microphone underneath the volume rocker, and the aforementioned volume rocker and power button, which are in the same exact positions as the original Nexus 7. Around back you'll see that we have a 5 megapixel camera, if we can focus. A 5 megapixel camera peeking out there. It's got a nice big opening and crystal in front of it, but it's not gonna blow anybody away. It's just a 5 megapixel camera. Up top you'll see the other speaker. That's what gives it these dual stereo speakers, the other one up top. And they've shifted the headphone jack to the top as well, rather than on the bottom like the original. So the back loses that kind of fake leatherette feel for more of a standard soft touch feel. So the entire back is harder, but has a soft touch material that still makes it easy to hold in the hand. It still is pretty easy to hold, wedges nicely into the palm of your hand. And one thing that helps out with that is the size of the bezels, which you'll see here are much smaller than before. They've brought in both sides over 3 millimeters, so the entire width is much easier to manage. I've got pretty big hands. It's still a bit of a stretch for me, but not nearly as much as it was before. And with the thinness of the device, it's pretty easy to wrap around if you want. Now you've retained the large bezels on the top and bottom, for lack of a better way to say. When it's in landscape, they're on the sides. So again, I have pretty big hands and I can fit my whole thumb on the bezel. So they've retained that, and when they announced the device, the new Nexus 7, they did a lot of the demos in landscape rather than portrait. So we're thinking that they're trying to push towards landscape a little bit, and that's pretty apparent here on the back, where you have the Nexus logo running horizontally when you hold it in that landscape orientation. Now, as for on the software side, we're of course looking at Android 4.3, and we're still diving into 4.3 on the Nexus 7 as well as the Nexus 10 and Nexus 4, but it's tough to say whether it's a combination of the software and the improved hardware in the Nexus 7, but it feels extremely fast and fluid, and oops, until you hit the wrong button, and everything, there's not a single slowdown to be found, and it's actually it's just really nice how quickly you can move around to everything, and and launching apps and everything, and it just seems really snappy. And especially with the rotation is quick. If you have an original Nexus 7 that may have been one of those ones that kind of got sluggish and bogged down, this doesn't seem to be happening on the new Nexus 7. On the screen side, while we have it turned on here, obviously a lot of glare going on, but the screen is 1920 by 1200 in the same 7-inch size, which is great. It looks nice. The original Nexus 7, as long as you didn't get too close to it and look at the pixelation from the 1280 by 800 screen, it was great. So this one is improved. They're saying that on top of the resolution, we also have better display colors, vibrancy, things like that. This isn't even at full brightness. This is about 70% brightness, and it looks great. No gap in the display or anything like that. Viewing angles seem pretty good as well. We'll have to do some more outdoor visibility tests to get a better feel for it, but ColorOS impressed so far. So that's your basic walkthrough of the hardware and a little bit of the software on the new Nexus 7. Thanks for taking a look, guys.